Hello, everyone. Miss Smith here. Today, I'm going to read you a little book about Salvador Dali. He's from the Surrealist movement. Okay, so it's just like this is fun. I used to have teachers read to me, and there ain't nothing wrong with it. Don't make no never mind. It's fine whether you're in seventh grade or whether you're in 12th grade. Well, shoot, you could be like me, pushing almost 44, and still that is fine. Okay, Salvador Dali was born in Spain in 1904. He was one of the most famous and unusual artists of the 20th century. That is a fact. Salvador Dali's best known paintings are called surrealistic. Most of them are filled with mysterious objects or familiar objects that have been oddly changed. So look at that. I love this. The melting clocks. I'd like to have a clock that looks like it's melting. I have a friend that has one of those, and it's just so cute. Okay. Even though the things Dali painted look very real, his paintings can be hard to understand. That's because many of the scenes he chose to paint come right out of his dreams. Oh, that's amazing. I've thought about keeping a journal next to my bed to write down my dreams. You might want to do that. I think that's a fabulous idea. Just before Salvador Dali was born, a terrible thing happened to his mother and father. Mr. and Mrs. Dali's first son died. When their new baby arrived, they decided to name him Salvador after the child they had just lost. They treated the new Salvador as though he were the first son, and they were very protective of him. The second Salvador was very confused while he was growing up. Okay, there's a little cartoon. It says, "Why doesn't Salvador eat his beans? Salvador always ate his beans. Why isn't Salvador drinking his milk? Salvador always drank his milk. Gee, I'm not my brother Salvador. I'm me. At least I think I'm me." Okay, because he was so confused, Salvador Dali acted different from other children. He's had strange dreams and fears, and he always wanted attention. "Help, help! They're coming closer. I can't stand it. Save me, save me!" I think he saw a grasshopper or something. Oh dear, what's wrong with poor Salvador? Salvador Dali often showed things in his paintings that he remembered from his childhood, even things that frightened him. Even after he grew up, Salvador Dali kept doing things to get attention, like arriving to an event in a limousine filled with cauliflowers or giving a talk about his art while wearing a deep diving suit. So here's the car with the cauliflower. "I'm here." Where? Can you imagine the smell? I wonder if it was summer, winter, spring, or fall. What did he say? What? I don't know. What, huh? So in a deep sea diving suit, back in the day, they were a metal. Okay. He said he just received messages from outer space through his mustache, which acted as an antenna. People couldn't wait to see what Salvador Dali would come up with next. "Why don't you paint a big blob and put ants crawling on it?" "Well, gee, that's a great idea." And he did. Okay. While he was growing up, Salvador Dali had a wonderful imagination and he was very interested in art. He may have started painting when he was only 8 years old at his family's summer's home. The Dali family spent every summer in Spain, which is right on the sea. So I guess that's a, that's a picture, a painting. Actually, that's by Salvador Dali. Artists from all over the world would come to paint the beautiful scenery there. Some of them were friends with the Dali family. Salvador Dali loved landscape around the Sea of Spain and included scenes he remembered in many of his later paintings. When he was a teenager, Salvador went to Madrid, the capital city of Spain, to enter its School of Fine Arts. Everything seemed fine at first, but soon Salvador got tired of the old fashioned art way and that was being taught in the school. That sounds a little like me too. I studied at Purdue for a Bachelor of Arts in Fine Arts, not for teaching at first. I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts and couldn't teach, and I had to go back and get my teaching licensure. And why did I do that? I didn't listen to my guidance counselors, and I did it because I didn't agree with the way that the art teachers were being reared. I thought that they should have more studio classes. And but then, I should have listened to my guidance counselor. It cost me 2 years more of school, but it all worked out. Okay, so this cartoon class, for the next 2 months, we will learn to draw the exciting box. Darn, why couldn't we have learned to draw something useful like a melting clock or a guy with a giant grasshopper on his head? He was more interested in exciting new art being created in the city of Paris, France. Salvador Dali was especially interested in the paintings of Pablo Picasso, another Spanish artist who lived in Paris. Spanish artists, okay, Dali loved many new and modern styles of painting that Picasso invented. Dali made many trips to Paris. On one of his trips, he got to meet Pablo Picasso. Some of Dali's earlier works look very much like Pablo's paintings at that time. Dali also became interested in a group of artists and writers in Paris known as the Surrealists. Surrealist art, such as Max Ernst, Rene Magritte, and Jean Miro, thought up of a whole new way of looking at things. They painted mostly what they remembered from their dreams or anything that automatically popped into their minds. The Surrealists hoped their strange works of art would make people think and discover feelings they had never knew they had. They felt that stirring up thoughts from the backs of people's minds was important for artists too, and for them to do. The Surrealists liked Salvador Dali and asked him to join their group. Soon he was painting pictures filled with his own dreamlike objects. The Surrealists thought Dali was such an interesting character that they sometimes traveled to his home in Spain to be with him while he painted. One of the people who visited him was the wife of Surrealist poet Gala, Eluard, loved Dali's work and his unusual personality. Uh, Gala was very imaginative too and liked attention as much as Dali did. Soon they fell in love, and Dali and Gala was the most beautiful woman in the world and used her in his model for painting. Like the one on this page, Gala helped to make sure Salvador Dali and his paintings got noticed as much as possible. Even Gala divorced her husband and married Dali. Interesting. Some of Dali's most famous paintings are very tricky. He often showed that things aren't always what they appear to be at first glance. It's not clear whether the painting on the next page shows a group of people or a statue of the head of a famous French philosopher. It's kind of like looking at clouds and imagining all the different things that you can see in them. Dali's paintings were becoming well known all over Europe and America. He wasn't afraid to show his strangest thoughts or dreams in his paintings. Some of the surrealists felt that Dali's dreams were too strange. They were sometimes offended at what Dali showed, like a cruel dictator, Adolf Hitler, in the painting above. Dali thought this was a ridiculous thing for surrealists to say and ended up leaving their group. He continued to paint exactly the way that he wanted to for the rest of his life. And this cartoon says, totally gross. I know exactly what the shape means, Dali. How dare you have a dream like that? If they think that's bad, wait until they see the dream I had last night. Okay, so the Adolf Hitler is right here. Okay. Salvador Dali lived to be 85 years old. He is best known for his paintings, but he accomplished many other things during his life. Dali made his own films. He was a very good writer. He also designed clothes, fancy perfume bottles, and ads for magazines, and worked with famous movie makers in Hollywood, including Walt Disney. Salvador Dali was always surprising people with showmanship. He is one of the great artists who became as famous as his artwork. Even though Dali showed his private thoughts in his paintings, they somehow seem familiar and often remind people of their own private thoughts and dreams. It's fun to see real Salvador Dali paintings up close. They look almost like photographs. Dali usually worked with tiny brushstrokes to make his brush marks as invisible as possible. The paintings in this book came from the museums listed below. Chicago Art Institute is one to name a few. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this book on Salvador Dali. I also want to mention that Frida Kahlo is also a surrealist or was a surrealist artist. Thank you for letting me share with you about Salvador Dali.